everybody. How are we doing today? Is the sound okay for those that are already in chat? Hi, Teresa. How's the sound going? Can you hear me at all? No image. Weird. How about now? Sounds good, but no image. Turn it up a little bit. Hopefully that does it. There we go, pictures. Yay, we got pictures. Awesome. Okay, so we're back in Creative Studio 7 today. And Mom's got a little camera going on the bottom there. Hopefully she can get that embroidery done. You know, she's a slacker today. She's been doing absolutely nothing. So we've been working on an actual embroidery pattern that we've been working on for a local group here, and it seems to be coming along good this time. Hopefully we can get it all finished up. Okay, so we've got Mr. Billy Goat Gruff up here, up on the mountain here, and we're going to add this gentleman to our package of nature animals that we're trying to do for Canada here. And so we're going to start outlining and defining some of the shape of this goat, and we'll just get started here. So again, we're going to use the arc tool and we're going to draw some lines here. Hi, Denise. And remember, they don't have to be perfect because we're going to go back in and look at them and move them around to where we need. But what we do want to do is make sure that we've got our lines, at least enough lines or arcs specifically created so that we can go in the right places. So for example, we're doing the knee here. We need to have a couple of arcs here just to make sure that we get the right shapes on the arcs. And you'll notice here that each time I draw a line, it's creating a new segment, and that new segment is a start and an end for this pattern. Each one of these, according to this program, thinks that it's an entire quilt pattern all on its own. So that's why we go in near the end and change it over so that we're actually doing it as a single pattern. You'll see here when we get to that stage, but we're sort of got some fiddly bits to do first. We're just gonna create some lines here and get some arcs in the right places. So how's everybody doing on this wonderful Thursday? Nobody wants to talk today, or it's 30 degrees and cloudy. Hi, Lois. Glad to hear you doing well. Hi, Deb. Nice to see you. We're just working on our goat here, our mountain goat. He's up in the Canadian Rockies somewhere, or somewhere else. I scour the internet for pictures, and I've also got some friends who take pictures for me when they're out, and got some of those coming up in the future. Okay, so this is going to be a challenging part here. Where do we want to go? We can either go up and around, and then back and around and do all the detail, and then back in, do the eye, and then around, and then back around up top. I think that's going to be the best way to get the whole image sorted out. So I'm going to go up rather than down. You'll notice I've got this really weird shape here, so I'm going to just break out of that arc and start again, because we can do that. Now I know I've said that you don't have to be perfectly accurate with this, but the less work you have to do when you go back into the nodes view that you can do is better, because obviously you're going to take less time to get it done. Gotta get the ear in here. Which flag? Hi Grace, nice to see you. Why, thank you, Grace. I can actually show everybody what that thing that is being quilted out looks like right now. Once we get this, once we get the first cycle through the goat here, I'll go into the other program and show you. Hello, Nancy. We're going to be messing around in the face area a bit when we get the whole thing finished. There we go. And we're completely done the outline. So let me just grab the other program here. I'll show you what's being stitched out, or slowly being stitched out. So this is the embroidery software package that we use, or are using right now. It's a trial. And if you thought some of these other applications were expensive, trust me, this one's really expensive. But it's a really good program, so. Now we're doing every Thursday if I can. Some people already know this, but TELUS actually laid off a large number of people that I used to work for them, and so I happen to be one of those people that got laid off. So I'm now looking for work, and so I as I go through my my interviews and things like that, if I do find a job that needs me to work Thursday nights, we might either push this and see where we can go, maybe go on to Sundays. We're not sure yet. We're just sort of waiting for what's going to happen to see what kind of job that we can pick up. So it might be Saturdays where I go on and do this, or it may stay at Thursday. We don't know yet, but Grace is trying to get me to move close to her, just so that we can be closer, obviously. Oh, it's our pleasure, Deb. We enjoy coming out and showing you what we're doing. It appears that Hatch is taking a very long time to load today. I'm just going to open it from here. And there we go. And that's what we're working on. That's what's working on right now. Thanks, Lois. So you can see it in the small screen and in the big screen. Well, it's not really a flag, it's more of an emblem for the skating club. So yeah, we basically took the image that you see over here and we converted it into this. Thanks, Irene. It's great for you to be here. Thanks for watching, for sure. So that's what we're working on. But let's go back to the Creative Studio. Yeah. Okay, so as I mentioned, if you look around, there's a whole bunch of little tags here. It's really hard to see with the background image, but there's a whole bunch of tags here that sort of explain where the start and stops are for every one of the line endings, or somewhere that that is a start or a stop or a next. So if we scroll in here, you can probably see. Let's just select it. You can see the start and end are right beside each other, which is what we want. But we've got this big mess in the face here we're going to have to clean up. So to do this, what we're going to do is combine the patterns, because each one of these things it thinks is, or each one of these lines it thinks is an individual pattern. So every one of these places where there's a an individual segment, it thinks is an entire pattern all to itself. So we're going to take all of these patterns and we're going to combine them all as a single pattern. So right now it looks like we have a single start and a single end. So we're going to work on some of the features here and get some of these lines in the right places. So if you remember, we go into nodes views. Still thinks it's multiple patterns. Odd. Why does it think it's multiple patterns? There we go. Odd. Wouldn't go into node view the normal way. So we're going to move this over to here. And one of the things I do want to show you guys is that there is a weakness here, or not a weakness, but another way to do this that is not necessarily better, it's just different, and it can actually in some cases save you time if you have a very steady hand, but in other cases it'll just draw things out for you. So you have to choose which method you're going to use to do this. So you notice that with curves, I've done mostly drawing arcs. You can also do freehand draw, and that is the other way that you can trace out these things if you have steady hands. I, on the other hand, find having these extra handles within the tool is, or within the line, is so much easier, because then I can draw things back into the right places where I need them and where I want them. So you can see that we're just reshaping what we drew the first time. Just by moving these handles around. I use a mouse. Why, thank you. So we're just going to move things in here and get them all sorted out so they're nice and in alignment with what we want for the picture. Sarnia area. Been there a few times. I used to do work out at the Suncor refinery in Sarnia. So we're just going to check out here, going to zoom out a little bit, pull that out. Most of the time animals don't have points on them, so we want to try and smooth out those points, unless we're talking about the end of horns or something along those lines. I think the nose look and mouth look a little bit better. We just need to straighten these out. The moose? What moose? This isn't a moose. At least I don't think it's a moose anymore. Yeah, we're gonna fix all these little mistakes here. Yeah, this is a mountain goat or a ram. Okay, let's zoom back out so we can get some space here. We can actually see. where we need to continue to work around the head, up here. Sounds very rustic, Deb. Hope you enjoy yourself. Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of camping, Grace? Is if you're not in the wilderness? I need to find the handles for this line here. I'm going to move this in. See, we found one. There's the other one. I'm going to bring these in a little bit and round out that top of that horn. Yes, Pop's triple bypass went well, and he's in positive spirits from what I've been told. So thank you everybody for your well wishes, because it obviously helped. So all I'm doing is smoothing out these corners and drawing the images around that as they need to be, so that we don't have just direct points for anything. And of course I'm breaking my own rule here, but I'm just trying to highlight the ear. But we do have a problem here, and we're going to have to figure out how to solve this problem. We missed a line here. Good job on the treadmill. I envy you. Not a big treadmill person. Not that I can't, I just choose not to. It's either the thing you hang clothes on, or it's the thing that that you're supposed to run on or something. I keep hearing rumors about that too. Yeah, the Bowflex is the other clothing hanger as well, if you have one of those. There, we got that all straight. Let's go up to the top here, because that needs to be looked at and fixed. think somebody's losing it in the other room. It's craziness in the quilt shop. Okay, sure. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. Now let's fix the back end. Needs a tail, does it? Hello, Saslet. There we go. Just move this part over here. This is the fun part. You get to move things around and reshape things that you've drawn, and if you do it right, it makes it look good. I have to zoom out and check that. The background on this doesn't have any trees, I don't think. But I could put the rocks in. Craziness in the quilt shop. Nothing but noise. So as you can see here, I have to do some moving of these pieces here. You'll notice that if I were to drive that down, you can see this line here is actually a jump stitch. So we don't want jump stitches in here. But we're gonna just bring this together and you won't be able to see the jump stitch. I didn't hear about any news in Florida today. I hope it's not too bad. Back zoom out and back in. I'm starting to think that news is part of 50% of our bad health issues that we have across both countries, Canada and school shooting. Yeah, this world is crazy. Is Clive creating chaos in the quilt shop again? Well, I'm glad you were able to make it into the chat, Patsy. Is there a reason why you couldn't chat on your iPad? There we go. That separation's important. There we go. Oh, it's down at the bottom, Patsy, of your iPad. There should be a live chat link down at the bottom of your screen. That's interesting. Why couldn't you see the chat? So this is what's being embroidered right now. Now you can split out the lines, so you can split out the lines at any point. So any one of these red points, the blue points are just markers to draw your arcs with. Really making a mess of this one, aren't we? Hopefully Mum will come in and share that that piece when she's done, because it looks like it's almost ready to come off. Yeah, because she can't quilt right now. She just can only sit and watch that happen. Yeah, get one of each, and then you're free to continue to work on the other while one's doing your embroidery. Let's take a look in here. Thanks, Tina. Appreciate it. And we just zoom in as much as you need to be able to see where the edge of the animal is. It's really straightforward. Everybody could do this. At least everybody in our group could do this. I know it. You guys are amazing. I've seen the stuff you guys do. So we have Bruce the Moose. What are we going to name this guy? Russ the Ram. Sam the Ram. Everybody's a Rodney the Ram. Yeah, that's not going to be the name. I'm sorry, dear. We have no knowledge of said activities, especially for this ram. Nice. When you get an old machine that works and everybody's like, your system is like 40 years old, and you just say, I need a belt, that's all I need, and they go, well, they don't make belts like that anymore. I think that's everything. Should we try a stitch out? See if we can't do the whole... We'll work on the rocks next. Ram King. I'm surprised nobody said Dodge Ram yet. Okay, let's actually start the quilting. And what you can see here is the dot going to travel along. And follow what your sewing machine would do, or in this case the gamma would do. So far it looks pretty good. Good sewing machines shouldn't break down. There we go. I think that works out well. So I'm just going to add a new quilt group, and we'll put him by himself on the group. And we'll just put him down here. Make him a little bigger. Yeah, I like him. He's pretty cool. Oh, that's another one for another day. We'll find him. There we go. Found him. Whew. So let's work on some of the background here. Get some of these rocks in. And then down here. Back up. Around the feet. So let's try and get some of those rocks in so we have some landscaping for this ram. Nobody thought of Rambo either. So we're just going to create some lines here, some depth for the rocks. There we go, we got some rocks now. So what I just did is I didn't like where that line was, so I'm going to take it out. I'm going to extend this one down so that it's there. Now I'm going to take my ram out of the picture. Just drag him away for a second. And And I'm actually going to end join to here, and I'm going to go around his foot again, his hoof. I just didn't want to get it messed up with the other one. And there we go, we've got that end joined up. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Take out that one because I don't like how that came out. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come down the leg and the hoof and around and join up there. Or not. Okay, so now we're going to grab a hold of all of the different rock-based formations, and we're going to create that as a single pattern. Oh, that's these two. Oops. And you can see how once we get these lines lined up, it's going to look like a background for the ram. So we're just going to combine patterns again. So at the back, this part here looks wrong. It should look wrong because we haven't adjusted the rock shapes yet. So we're just got the rough outline of the rocks, and now we're going to go back and fix it. Right here. Okay, let's just grab this, combine patterns, click on that, and then we're going to go to Nodes View. Zoom in, do the same thing again, move things around. Fun thing about rocks is they have points, so you don't have to have everything to be rounded. Just remember, when you get back into the shape of the animal, you have to go back into your rounded shapes. And now we're out again, but we want some go. How's our embroidery going? Almost there. Who knew you get to watch embroidery and designing things today, right? Can't wait that long, make it faster. So we're just going to get this roughly shaped, and then we're going to bring back in the original one we worked on to make sure everything lines up. You can see all these jump stitches, so if you remember, we took out some lines and did a few things. We're going to have to do something called an order join on this one to make sure that everything's in the correct order. Otherwise it's going to make somebody very unhappy when they try and actually do the stitch out. Actually, I'll show you what the stitch out looks like for that. Okay, so I think I'm going to start over here. We're going to bring this back in. Maybe. Pretty close to lined up, and then we're going to try the star quilt. I think you're right, Denise. There's so many different things that can be done just to a single piece of fabric to make it into something so much more. And we're just waiting for this to stitch through the sheep. We've seen this once already, so I can speed it up a little bit. There we go. A little bit faster. And she's not multitasking. So you notice there that it did a jump. So we're going to need to fix that. See it bouncing all over the place now? Okay, so we've seen how that has happened. I think what we need to do now is take this and where's my order join? Use order join and see what happens. And now we're going to start quilting this and see if it fixed the problem for us. Nope. So we've still got a problem. So I'm going to stop that. Which triangle? And why no jump stitches? Jump stitches are annoying to quilters. If you have a jump stitch in your package, yes, it's going to remain here. It's part of the shape of the rocks. If you think about it, when you have a jump stitch, you actually have to bring the bobbin up every time for every jump stitch. So if there's 50 jump stitches in a pattern, you're actually creating extra work for yourself. So if you can remove that extra work, then you're good. I'm not sure how it makes it look like it's giving birth. I've seen animals give birth before and it doesn't look like that. Get it all. He's not woman. Probably not, just based on the fact that he's a he. Yeah, so you got to be careful when you're looking at the images, the photos. You got to take the photos out of context, right? The only thing I'm really concerned about is this shape here and this angle and why these aren't connected, so I've got to fix those things. I've got to fix the jump stitches. Yeah, you can't. It should lock the stitches in no matter what you do. However, it's better practice to remove the jump stitch from any pattern that you're building because of that fact. Like, you don't want your locking stitches to come unlocked just because you did a jump stitch. And normally it won't, but it's just another possibility for something to break. Why is that not? Let's go into notes here. I don't want that. I want notes of this. There we go. So I'm going to fix this here. Let's actually take this spot up here. And all I'm trying to do here is get these fairly close together so that we remove any duplicate lines that shouldn't necessarily be there. And that was also probably part of the visual image issue. gonna have to look into why that order join's not working, because it should have joined based on the start point from a logical stitch perspective. $49,447 stitches just to do that. Now what's it really look like? Good night, cat lady. Have fun. Into sleep. You need to come up a little bit. I think that looks great. A lot better than the first two goes. Awesome. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Just gonna move some of these lines around. I'm not sure why they're all messed up like this. I may even go to the point where I'm going to actually delete this and redo it again. But I'll do that at a different time. In general, you can see how this pattern is now going to look like. I think it's good. It's got some real structure to it, and it's got the actual nature behind it. So it's not just an in-space animal. What's everybody think of this guy, Mr. Ram? What was which photo that popped up? This one here? This is going to be a whole cloth that I'm working on. Thanks, Pat. So yeah, this is pretty much what I had planned to show everybody today. So, but I wanted to just go into this a little bit. When you're looking for pictures on the internet or out in nature or anywhere, just look for something that catches your eye. I saw this on the internet, obviously, and grabbed the picture because I want to make this into something. If you look at all the detail, and we can make this with great effect into a whole cloth pattern, and the results are going to be stunning, I think. So just when you're looking for things on the internet, look at the architecture of what you're going to do and what you're trying to do. So yeah, definitely keep in mind there's lots of different things. Here's another, well, that's another thing I've got to do, and there's no, but here's another example. Then this is clay work that is done for molding, and you could take this and draw this out and trace it out to get your feather. So and then take this, for example, you don't even have to do the whole thing, just take this piece. So right here, down this area, you know, grab in these two leaves here, and then you've got a wonderful little piece that you can put together with something else and create a stitch out from that. So going back here, the front shoulder, not based on the picture. The picture doesn't have, you know, you could build this in. I'm not doing it, unfortunately, but because I don't have, I could probably drag this up and then drag this back down here. There's lots of things you can do. Sort of like this. That gives you the shoulder, front shoulder. Or are you talking in here? Because we could do the same thing here. And this is what I was saying about making sure you have enough nodes that you can make edits and changes that you want to make. There you go. Added that out. So if we to take all of this, take him over here, and there you go. And that gives it a little bit more definition. And I've got to fix down here and fix all this mess, but yeah, I like how it turned out. So we're going to take this out, and we're going to work on that again at a later time. So thanks everybody for joining me tonight for our Tech Talk. If there's anybody that has any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat right now, and I'll do my best to answer them from a technical perspective. Thanks, Teresa, for coming out. And Pat. Yeah, the extra definition does make a lot of sense. Okay, if everybody, nobody has any questions, I'm going to end the stream for today. Thanks, and hope to see you on Weekend Project as well as on the live stream. And don't forget to check us out on Patreon. We did post our first secret video, and I think it went off pretty good. So if you have some fun, and make sure you're getting some quality art time in. And don't forget, you can download this application and go through what I'm doing at any point in time yourself. You just have to turn it on to standalone mode, and you should be good to go, and you can do your own art. So have fun everybody, and we shall see you in the next video. We'll talk soon.